Let us continue working on Power BI, and now we want to see how we can create a Pareto chart. Let's first understand what a Pareto is. So a Pareto chart is a combination chart that shows us two things. It shows us a column and it shows us a curve, which is a line. For example, here I can see that there are different defects. So there are 6 of them, and I can see the total defect frequency, which is the column, and then in the line I can also see the percentage contribution, which is the cumulative percentage. Obviously it will end at 100%, and this is very important because it helps us understand, for example, in this particular case, that if we look at our top 3 casting defects, they are contributing almost 85% of our total cumulative defects, like this. Pareto is typically used for inventory and in supply chain and in manufacturing, but it can be used by marketing teams as well when you want to understand the bulk of contribution is coming from certain products. For example, you might be selling 15 products in the market, but maybe only 3 of them are contributing a very significant portion of your top line. So we first want to make a table. So let's understand the problem statement a little bit. I want to keep my subcategory and my total sales value. So far, nothing complicated. We just have a simple table with our subcategory and our total sales value. Now, the first thing that I want to do here is I want to create the rank. We've already done this earlier, so let's quickly see the rank that we have. So if you notice, we created the rank like this, and we also had a rank like this. Now, if we keep this rank inside the table, we will get from 1 all the way till 70, which is what we wanted. The next thing we want to do is we also want to find the running total. Now, this is where things get interesting. I have to use a top N filter. This means if you look at the previous one that we had taken, this was a little different. Here we were using, if I go back to the example, here we were using a slicer like this to look at the top N, correct? What we need here is, I need to find out the total sales for phones is 330,000. Phones and chairs combined is 330 plus 328. The top 3 are 330 plus 328 plus 223, like this. Now, this means that if I want to find the first value, I will look at a rank of 1. To find the second one, I will look at a rank of 1 and 2. For the third one, I'll look at 1, 2, and 3, and so on and so forth. So let's create a new measure, and let's call this our running total. So let's call this our Pareto running total. This would be total sales. Now remember, we want to look at the top N filter, so we want to use top N. This means it will only return a given number of top rows according to a specified expression. So what is the N value that I want? We want it to come from the rank that we have created. That means from our rank that we created. What is the table? The table will be all our subcategory. And then what is the order by expression? This would be total sales. Let's see the result. So when I put my Pareto running total in my values, you would see that we are getting exactly what we wanted. For phones, it is 330,000. For phones and chairs combined, it is 330 plus 328, which is 658. For the first 3, it is 330, 658, and 882, which basically means 330, 328, 223 combined is 882,000. Obviously, the final number will be the grand total, which is 2.29 million. Now we also want to find this as a percentage. So this should be simple enough. We want to find Pareto percentage, which is equal to a safe divide, where we are taking our running total, and in the denominator we are keeping total sales for all our subcategory. So I hope this is clear. We are basically dividing 330,000 by the grand total, which is 2.29 million. Same thing, 6.58 divided by 2.29 million. Let's see the result. We will now get a percentage like this. Let me just convert this into a percentage. You can just go to measure tools and convert this into a percentage here. Wonderful. That's it. That's the result that we wanted. Now we don't actually need to create a table. We could have directly created the chart, but I think at least in the beginning it's a good idea for you to be able to see the working that goes behind it. But once you have done this, you can just create a line and column chart, this one. Let me put it on the right. And we want to keep subcategory in our axis. Then we will keep the total sales value in our column, and we will keep the Pareto percentage in our line value. And as you can see, we get a Pareto chart like this. Remember, I showed you early in this course how to create a constant line, let's say 80%. So if you want to do that, let's say I want to create a 80% line. Let me see if I still have that. Just give me a moment. Okay, I do have a constant line here, and let's change the constant line to 80%. Let's call this 0.8. Now on the Pareto, we can also put our constant line as a line value, and you can see that now we get a 80% as well. What does this mean? It means that if you look carefully, I have 17 subcategories with me. But if you look carefully, my top 8 are contributing 80% to my total sales, while the other 9 are only contributing 20% to my total sales. And if you want to verify this for every single region, you can also make a slicer for your region. And very nicely, you can see that for every region, do you see how the numbers change? And that is exactly what we wanted to show. So it's a very good example. There is a custom visual available in Power BI as well, which allows you to create a Pareto. But I really feel that doing it manually is the better way of doing it, because it gives you more control. And in case you want to do any tweaks in the future, you would be able to do that.